Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. And this one is somewhat special. I think it's very special because I have my beautiful wife with me, Al.
Hey,
Welcome
babe.
to the show. And the reason why I have her on the show is because I asked you for some questions, and we have a whole slew of them. And I figured, why not have you ask them
I get to
me?
ask the questions.
But I kind of want to ask some questions to you as well. I think we'll bounce back and forth.
Okay.
But I'm just glad you're here. It makes it really comfortable and fun. So I think we need to do a little bit of an introduction.
Okay.
Because we didn't talk about our relationship in the episode with my dad. We kind of got into the meat about, his life and my life, but not really yours. So we're going to ping pong back and forth.
All
but
right.
we are coming on, actually, we hit 7 years of marriage.
Yeah, 7 years, 2 kids. It's a big milestone.
That is a big milestone. And you still love me, and
We're still married.
I am flabbergasted
Oh, gosh.
because my life is just crazy, but you're still around.
No, I feel like it gets better with time.
And you know a lot about me. So no wonder I wanted you on this podcast. The thing is, though, don't drill me too hard.
I'll go easy.
Don't expose me.
I'll go easy.
So let's dive into, first off, you marrying into the family. Because I want to get I want to get your perspective first.
Well, I feel like we should start more with like how we met. Just do like a quick overview of all that, just to paint a picture. We were friends, really, before we started dating. We went on a trip together at a cabin, and that's where we initially met. And then we went to the same college, so we would see each other on campus, at parties, just in passing. We were more like acquaintances. I wouldn't even say friends.
Yeah, but you always said that I wasn't really warm.
You weren't very warm to me because I low-key had a crush on you. And I was like, oh, he's cute. And so I'd like kind of try and flirt. Nothing.
I didn't give you the time of day at all. I was such a jerk, though. I was
No.
young and naive.
You weren't a jerk, but you were definitely like not interested. So I was like, whatever, I give up. And then like a year and a half went by. We ran into each other again on campus. And then all of a sudden you showed all this interest and it was just this 180. And I'm like, what the heck?
Because the gates opened.
Okay.
There were a few things that had happened. Time had passed by, and I think he went through a few relationships, and then those kind of fizzled away. And I left my class randomly, and you were sitting right there, and I was like, what in the heck? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, we hadn't seen each other for a while.
A couple years.
And then I just was laughing because, like, you never gave me the time of day. And then all of a sudden you're like, let's hang out. Let's go on a date. Let's get married.
Yeah, I think our courtship was really short.
No, we don't need to
Yeah,
discuss.
we don't need to go into that. Anyway, 7 years later, 2 kids.
You know what? We're still together,
Yeah.
and it's been great. It's been really fun. We have lived a couple different places. We lived in Hawaii. I got my bachelor's degree from a school out there. Chris really did most of my homework for me.
Yeah, I wrote a few papers, surfed and wrote a few papers for you.
And then we moved to California for like a year. That was fun. And then we moved back to Utah, where both of our families are from. And we've been here since.
So backing up real quick, though, when we started dating, I want to touch on this because you didn't really know anything about the family at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean a little bit, right?
A little. Okay, so this is what's, I think, just to paint the picture for people. Utah is a very interesting place because we have our own culture here in this, like we have our own trends going on. We have so many things that's like Utah born and based. And I had obviously heard of your dad, but again, I thought it was like a Utah cultural thing. Like, he was Utah famous.
Which very much
and
is,
it extended to that point. I didn't know it went outside of that. So when we started dating, I was like, oh, cool. He's a Utah guy. And that was that. But you never really expanded on his fame.
Which
you never
honestly,
really...
I don't really like to, because what am I supposed to do at the beginning of a relationship? Hey, just to let you know, like, this
No,
is...
for sure. But when we even got closer and, like, more serious, you weren't even the one who, like, gave me a full history of who your dad was.
Well, you had to find out through some of your friends.
Who were not from Utah. And that's when I was like, oh, that... I didn't know that.
Because it was some of your lifelong friends that put in a CD in their car.
So this is a funny story. I have some really good friends who live out in California, and they're older, my parents' age, our parents' age. And my friend and I went to go visit them. It's my best friend's godparents. And we went to go visit them. We lived with them for a summer, so I got really close with them. And when we visited her, she picked us up, and I told her that you and I started dating. And I'm like, you might know who his dad is. He is a musician. His name's Alta Osmond. And she freaked out. She was like, I just went to his concert, like, in the summer. And no joke, the only CD she had in her car was your dad's CD from the concert that she went to. I didn't even know people still had CDs. Like, did not know it was a thing. And she started playing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is his dad. You know him? Like, I didn't even know she knew who he was. And she's like, Alta, are you, like, dumb? This is Donnie Osmond. He's, like, a big deal for, like, us older folks, you know. Anyway, so.
And so you came back to me and you're like, you didn't tell me
I
this?
called you and I was like kind of annoyed. I'm like, you never told me like the extent of who your dad was at one point in time. Because I'm wondering
if I told you, would you have run?
Maybe. No, I'm kidding. But then
but you were shocked though.
I was shocked because she was showing me videos, like YouTube videos of them getting swarmed by thousands of people at the Heathrow Airport in London, and just stuff I never put two and two together. And I think it's because back then they obviously didn't have social media either. So the fame is just different now. We see it instantaneously on our phones with influencers, reality TV stars. It's kind of everywhere we look.
Well, and there's a lot of them now too.
And there's a lot of them where, like, I do think it also has propelled a lot of people's career because they've been able to reach more people with social media. But also for your dad back in those days, they didn't have the channel outlets that they have now, the streaming platforms. So it was literally like the Osmonds and 6 other bands that were like huge. Not really, but you get what I'm saying. Like everyone was watching the same thing. Everyone was listening to the same thing. So everybody knew who the Osmonds were, whether they liked them or not, because they were everywhere. And I didn't know that until outsiders told me.
Which isn't very uncommon, I mean, for our generation anyway, millennials.
Like, yeah, I don't think a lot of millennials understand or know.
Your parents or a parent of a millennial were very tied to like watching Friday night, the Donnie and Marie show back in the 70s.
There are a few people who are like obsessed with him because I think their parents had such an influence on them, like Jenna Dewan.
Yeah.
I know she's a big Donnie Osmond fan. And it's just like funny to see just these random millennials love him.
But that was kind of refreshing in a way for me to just start with a relationship that wasn't based off of like, oh, an Osmond here. It was very natural, and it didn't have any ulterior motive, right? Whereas I feel like there have been some relationships in the past. Thankfully, I haven't had a lot of those where it was like, hey, when are you going to give me tickets to the show? Or
I also feel like it helped meeting your dad before I knew the extent of his fame, because I gained a relationship with him before I found out and became very comfortable with him to the point where it's like, oh, he's a normal guy. Like, he's just Chris's dad. You know, that's who he was to me. He wasn't this celebrity who I got nervous around, or, you know what I mean? It removed that pressure.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
Which we touched on that in the episode with him. And I mean, you actually brought it up and said that you have kind of two different lives, one on stage and one at home, where he is very much a normal guy. And so that's why it was probably odd for you to realize, oh, he is pretty famous, but he seems so normal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, you took me to the Vancouver show, and that was the first time I ever saw him perform.
In 2017.
In 2016.
Yes.
It was 2016. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember like looking at you the whole time and just like laughing, because I'm like, he's like a pro. He's actually professional. This is not the guy I get when it's just one-on-one time. And that's what I was trying to say, is like, he's almost two different people. He's the professional, but then he's the dad, you know? And I only ever saw the dad. And then at that show, I saw the professional, and I'm like, okay, he knows what he's doing. And then another time when it really dawned on me that I'm like, oh, he's not just Utah famous. He's globally famous. I was reading Michelle Obama's autobiography, and she mentioned, she's like, yeah, you know, back then she was talking about her childhood. She's like, everyone would either watch like the Osmonds or the Jacksons. And she's like, I didn't care for the Osmonds. I like preferred the Jacksons. And I'm like, wait, did she just say the Osmonds?
Like mentioned them? Yeah.
Yeah. She like mentioned them in her autobiography. And I was like,
I mean, that's really what a lot of people do say about that time. It was between the Osmonds and the Jacksons.
Right.
Because they were the two main groups. Obviously, there's all these other solo artists, but they were the two families that were really the 70s.
But for my point is, for Michelle Obama to mention the Osmonds, I'm like, oh, that's like next level, you know? So that's when I started realizing the extent of it all.
And you know what? I keep realizing things throughout the years. Like, sometimes I don't even know what my dad's doing, and he's on Good Morning America, or he's flying over to England to do something. Next thing I know, he was on an episode of Friends, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
As a child.
Your dad is funny that way. He doesn't come home and gloat about his projects.
No.
He's very humble about it, which is super cool. But then at the same time, it's like, I want to know what's going on.
And I think that's why my childhood in particular was very normal. I think people always assume like, oh, was it very glamorous? Were you guys traveling all over the place? And there were times where, we would go on tour with him through Asia, which was incredible, amazing. But that was an anomaly. That only happened for a few weeks of a summer when I was a kid. Other than that, I'm out in the backyard in the dirt, you know, digging holes with my buddies.
Shooting out windows from tractors.
I have a track record of shooting out some windows with a BB gun. And, well, you don't need to get into those details. Actually, we will, because you claim I have some bad karma with windows. You have bad juju.
Because you need to visit a shaman.
Does
anybody have a good shaman that they would recommend? Because I need some spiritual work immediately.
All right. So as a kid, the house that we lived in, there were fields all over it. So there weren't any other houses really, but there were a lot of tractors out there digging up stuff. And I got a BB gun. It's like a pump action BB gun, and you can pump it. You're supposed to pump it 3 times. I pump it like 20 times, whatever. And I would shoot at windows thinking, oh, these are like bulletproof, right? Because they're tractors. Well, they weren't, or at least they weren't strong enough. And so I ended up breaking a few. And my dad told me the way that I need to pay back is I need to go work in the basement, fulfilling all of the fan mail and sending out merch to all the fans for like a full summer. It was brutal.
No, but then there was like a cleaner, like a window cleaner or something that was at your house. And you shot out his window too.
I know.
And you never confessed it to your dad. And then one day there was glass all over your driveway.
You know what? I'm wondering if he even knows this.
Your dad goes, what's this glass from? And you go, I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, so full circle. Every time we drive on the freeway, I'm not kidding. I actually don't let Chris drive anymore at this point because he will always get a rock chip.
It's true.
He will always get a rock chip. And so I'm like, it's karma. We need to just make reparations however we can.
I've tried.
And clear it.
I've tried clearing it. I've tried wafting. I've tried everything.
We need a shaman.
And we need a shaman.
All right, let's start digging into these questions.
I'm a little nervous. I think some of them are pretty funny, but
some of them are pretty good. Okay, this is from Singing Sarah, 11. Were you a theater kid growing up? Favorite worst show role you were in?
Okay, I did a few. I think I was in James and the Giant Peach at like 5th grade, which I think ran pretty smoothly. And then freshman year of high school, I did The Secret Garden, which I don't think you even know what this is, but I was the semi-lead role, the one little kid in the wheelchair, and I just had to scream the whole time. So my dialogue was dialed for that whole thing, just screaming. Well, I thought going into sophomore year of high school, I'm like, I had this amazing role in freshman year. I'm going to land a really big role. And sure enough, they brought Beauty and the Beast that year. And I was really excited. And my dad had done Gaston on Broadway. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm going to try out for Gaston, this little 5'5", 120-pound nothing kid. And so I go in and I nailed it. I sang my heart out and everybody was stoked. I got the call back. And 2 weeks after, they had posted the list of who had made it on the door at the school. And so I'm walking up to it slowly. I'm like, yes. And I see my name. And I get closer. I'm like, okay, I'm in. And it says, Chris Osmond, The Knife.
You didn't get the lead.
And I'm like, a knife? In what? And it's in the Be Our Guest ensemble. So I was supposed to dress up in silver, and they painted my face silver, and they had a big cardboard cutout of a knife wrapped in tinfoil.
Babe, I wish we dated in high school.
I don't know if you would have dated me.
I would have been there with a poster.
But I danced my heart out, and my best friend was the spoon, so we both just sat back there doing that. That was the last time I had ever done a musical, and I don't know if I will do another one.
Okay, so was that a setback in your theater career, or was that a lesson?
My theater career? What career? There wasn't any career, babe. That was...
Okay, theater
that was done.
Aspirations.
Yeah. No, we can move on to the next one. That was it.
Moving on. This is Gab CH95. Any celebrity crush that you've had for as long as you can remember?
Well, you know this.
Jessica Alba.
Well, she was. That was probably the OG
and then
crush
Ariana
that I
Grande.
had. And then it was Ariana Grande for...
I'm glad I look nothing like them, by the way.
That's because you're way hotter, to be honest. And...
Do not put that in.
And it was, I would say, Charlize Theron.
Oh, yeah, she's a good one. I have a crush on Charlize Theron.
And I had a crush on her when Italian Job came out. And I just watched that the other day, too.
It's a good movie.
And it's a good one. And she makes it really good.
She's good.
I don't know what she's doing now, but that was my crush.
Yeah, she's cute. Maybe she can come on the show.
Hold on. What's your crush, then?
Let
me guess what your crush is.
I feel like I like go through so many, but I always come back.
I want to say it was like Channing Tatum.
As like a kid, wait, now or like growing up?
No. Okay, so we're going to go through the years, though. Like when you were a kid.
Oh, you're going to die.
Oh, then maybe it was Zac Efron.
No, I never liked like the mainstream crushes. I had weird crushes. I had an obsession with Eminem.
Oh, that's right. You did.
I had
you know all of his
picture on my wall because here's why. I have a nose fetish. I love a good nose. He has the most beautiful nose.
I wouldn't even.
And I thought he was so cute and just so attractive. Next to Eminem on my wall was Russell Crowe.
For real.
For real.
During Gladiator, though, right?
No, it was during, what movie was it?
Robin Hood.
It was Robin Hood. That had come out like my junior year.
Yeah, he looks pretty
My
hot in that
heart couldn't take it. It was like palpitating.
one. Okay. Well, then who is it now?
I gotta say, I've always loved Matthew McConaughey. He's kind of like
I just like his personality.
staple. I just love his personality. And then I would also say Shawn Mendes, which you kind of remind me of him. So that makes sense.
He's kind of the pretty boy.
He's
dude
like
that-
the only pretty boy that I really have like taking a liking to.
I mean, you don't like Timothy Chalamet? Does he not have a good nose?
He's not my vibe. Let's see. This is Janie J Fitness. Did you feel pressure to be a certain way because of public pressure?
Okay, public pressure. Yes, I did. I think the pressure was more of, well, you sing, don't you? Or you're just a natural performer. And I think we all had to kind of perform in our own way, shape, or form. And it didn't have to be in singing, but it's almost just like holding the standard of the Osmond family. Because I think in Utah, there is a bar set of who we are, if that makes sense. So there was definitely pressure, but I think the pressure I got was a lot more in the realm of the performing arts. Like, oh, you should just have a voice because you're an Osmond.
Right.
Which not all the Osmonds do. Like,
Some are
I've
tone
got a
deaf.
brother who doesn't, he can't sing. I mean, he's a drummer, but you know.
Well, I think it was like our first year we were married. A friend of mine, I ran into her from high school. Well, she was a friend from high school. And she's like, oh my gosh, you married an Osmond. I'm obsessed. I loved Donnie. She was a theater person. And she's like, I just envision you guys during Christmas singing around the piano.
Oh, I'm glad you're bringing this up. This is funny.
And I'm like, that is the last thing we're doing. Like, we are the most normal.
We don't do that.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
And she's like, do you guys Christmas carol? I about cackled. I was like,
Yeah.
far from it.
Here's what I feel happens in the family is my dad performs, I perform from time to time, the cousins do, and they go their own way and do that. But then we all come together and it's like, we're off the stage. We're not doing any of that.
We're in our home.
And in fact, even on birthdays, we all sing out of tune.
Yeah. We mock the birthday song.
We mock the birthday song. So don't come over. Nobody come over and listen to us sing because
or just don't have expectations.
Don't have expectations. I mean, we all love playing piano. I love my parents' grand piano. They have a beautiful Yamaha there, which has a lot of history. It's been through a flood, and I don't know what happened, but my dad took it apart, every single piece, and put it back together, and it sounds even better than it was before. So I gravitate towards that room, and I know that a lot of people do, but we're all kind of just, it's chaotic over at the house. We've got 14 grandkids that are, it's chaos. You know, they're all jumping in the pool. They're out in the backyard playing in the dirt. There's food everywhere.
Yeah, it's madness.
It's madness.
All right, this is from Bart C.H. Rachel, I think. Sorry if I'm not
These
pronouncing
are interesting
these
usernames. Okay.
correctly, but I'm doing my best. What is one of your funniest moments with your dad?
Funniest moments. Oh, gosh. I hope he doesn't kill me for this one. So we were in England years ago. I want to say I was in my early teens. He was probably doing a show out there. And we were close to Hyde Park. And I don't even know what this Indian restaurant is named, but it's one of the nicer ones in London. And we went and we got all of these appetizers, and my dad got this little salad with like green beans on the top. And he popped one in his mouth and started chewing, swallowed it. And we look over at him and he's super red in the face, like extremely red. And he thought he was literally going to die. And we took him to the hospital.
Oh, no.
It was a whole to-do. And it was apparently like one of the hottest peppers in the world that he'd eaten. Now, I don't know if this is funny, but that was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh. A little scary. So he really checks his food now before he tries any
Yeah.
any of that.
No, that's actually intense.
He's had a couple food run-ins.
Yeah, he actually has.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from RS_1732.
Okay. R2D2C3PO. Here we go.
RS17323. What's your favorite memory of all time?
My favorite memory of all time. Now, as a child or like any time? I guess this opens up
That's actually a really cute question.
my favorite memory of all time. To be honest with you, I don't think anything beats having our first child.
Yeah.
And yes, I could talk about my childhood, but becoming a father and for you a mother was euphoric. There's no feeling like that.
That was a really cool experience.
I mean, it opened up a new chamber in your heart and you're like, whoa.
Totally. And I feel like that's when we became a family.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, that was like the best moment. And it was during COVID, so no one could come visit us. And I was really sad about that at first. But then afterwards, I loved it. Just being us three.
Yeah, there was something about the privacy.
Just that connecting with your infant. Oh, take me back.
We truly became a family. And then our cute little Dune bug.
Oh, he is so cute.
He's a wild one right now. We're trying to get him to walk.
He's crazy.
He wants nothing to do with it. But he will go put his face in dirt. Like 2 days ago. Was this 2 days ago? You sent me a picture. He had gotten in the planter box in our house and put it all over his face. He looked like he had black eyes.
He emptied out the entire soil from the pot and it was all over the floor. I literally was gone for 5 minutes. And then I come back. Soil's all on the floor and it's all over his face, all over his outfit. I'm just dead. I'm like, I'm not putting up a Christmas tree this year.
No. Absolutely not.
Where Ozzy's just this sweet princess who wants to have tea parties and Dune is going head first into window wells.
He's like a bobcat in the house.
He's just this bobcat.
Yeah.
All right. This question is from Matthew John Wilson, 9187. Do you have abs at all?
What?
And what was it like being on Claim to Fame?
Oh, I see what he's saying.
Do you have abs?
Oh, okay. Do I have abs at all? Well, if you haven't seen this episode, there is a challenge where they strap you to an ab machine. I don't even know what they're called, but it has, what do you call that?
Like, wasn't it like
contracts your
contractions?
muscles. And they put it to level 10 for like 10 minutes. And I had to stand there, have that thing go over and over again.
Does it help you get abs?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see results. I'm just going to tell you right now. And I survived, but that hurt. I was pretty sore for a bit. But yeah, look, I'm working towards it. I'm working on it.
I'd say you have more of a dad bod right now.
Okay, we're going to the next question.
Which is fine, but you had pretty good abs last year when you were training for your half Ironman. You had some serious
It was getting
abs.
there.
Yeah.
That was the one time in my life that I was pretty in shape.
They looked pretty good.
I might have to do another one of those.
This is from Daily Norma. Are you as competitive as your father? I see similar personalities.
I think you could probably answer this one for me.
I don't think you're competitive.
What? Really?
No. I think you're the sweetest, nicest guy.
Yeah, but when it comes to pickleball...
Babe, I'm 20 times more competitive than you are.
What are you talking about? We lay it out on the court.
We do, because I'm yelling at you the whole time.
I'm yelling at you.
I would say you're like, you care, but you're not like a mean, competitive person. If that makes sense.
Okay. I have sportsmanship, which means whatever that means. I don't even know.
Like, if we're playing tennis or pickleball and you miss the shot or whatever, you're always like, oh, shoot. And like, you'll laugh about it. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, you missed the shot. Like,
get mad
where
at yourself.
you don't do that, where I'm like the one that I get a little like,
okay, all
it's
right,
almost
all right.
like
Hey,
road
look, no.
rage, but for like
I like to be
competition.
fair. I like to be fair. I don't like to push the envelope or like, oh, he was like a centimeter on the line kind of thing. I'm not.
I would say your dad's more competitive though, especially when we play
in his
like
lane.
board games and stuff. He gets way into it.
Yeah. I get frustrated with board games. Like Settlers of Catan, I've never won because partly maybe I don't even understand the game. But yeah, you do get pretty competitive.
I get way competitive.
Yeah.
But I love being competitive. I think it makes it fun.
Okay. Well, the consensus is I guess I'm just a fair player.
You're just sweet. You're just like nice and cute and you don't want to ruffle
Oh,
feathers.
is that why you love me? I'm just a
Where
sweet
I just
guy.
like want to win. I don't care. I don't care.
You don't care? Yeah, you can bite sometimes.
I have a loud bark, but I don't bite, boo. All right. I think that's all the questions we have for now. We'll have to do this again. This was fun.
Well, we only scratched the surface, but
Oh, I do have a question for you. You were talking about that ab contractor thing that you did on Claim to Fame.
mm-hmm.
So recently, you had a kidney stone,
Okay.
which I'm so sorry about. I don't know why I'm laughing.
Okay.
Because
We're bringing up some really personal problems
so it was
in
like
my
a few
body.
weeks ago, and I have never seen Chris like in pain. I feel like if anyone's ever sick, it's me. You've never been sick. Like you're made of steel. Well, it was one Saturday morning. You were about to leave and go right in the studio, and next thing I know, I come out of the room and you're on all fours. You can't even breathe. You're literally like
Oh, it hit me like
on
a ton
death's
of bricks.
doorstep. Like I have never seen that. And you were like, I need to go to the ER. Take me to the ER. So I took you to the ER. Sure enough, you had a kidney stone, which they do run in your family.
Yeah, they do.
What was more painful, the kidney stone or the ab machine?
Oh, like tenfold the kidney stone.
Okay.
I would take the ab machine any day.
Which I felt bad.
They say the ab machine's like contractions, but I don't. Now that I've experienced the kidney stone, and I even asked my sister-in-law who has natural births and everything, and she said, yeah, and she's had kidney stones before too, and she said that's pretty comparable. Now I'm sure it's dependent upon the size of the kidney stone. Mine was kind of,
and the person, I
mine
think.
was just small amateur, right? And the person as well. But I do have to say, I couldn't move, and I
it was
needed
pretty bad.
morphine. I needed it all. It hurts so bad.
That did hurt bad.
So I don't wish that upon anybody ever. And thankfully it was only one.
Yeah.
So, if you want to talk kidney stones, just hit me up in the DMs.
Well, Ozzy was so excited to go to the hospital because she is in the era of she loves doctor, hospitals, fire trucks, helicopters, you name it. So when I was like, we have to take Dad to the hospital, she was like
Thrilled.
So excited.
Yeah. Well, she loves seeing sirens going on and car accidents. She'll look at them, like she'll stare at them.
She loves them.
Daddy, there's a car accident. Mommy, there's a car accident. We need to stop.
I think it's just that age.
It's probably that age.
I think they just are so intrigued. But anyway.
Well, that's that for this episode. Stepping into our lives together. We'll do more because we have a lot more we can talk about.
Yeah, I want to make some cameos too. You have some exciting people coming up.
Yep. It's going to be awesome.
Love you.